The first Minister of Justice for Country St. Martin in 2010 was none other than Attorney-at-Law Mr. Roland Duncan. The minister was brought in by Patrick Illich, who at the time was part of the first government coalition in Parliament between the Democratic Party and the United People's Party. After the last government fell, Duncan, however, did not serve in the Westcott Williams III cabinet. Today, with the eve of the elections, why isn't the former National Alliance candidate not running with the National Alliance? Duncan responds.
I have, from 1994 to 1997, served my country as a parliamentarian. In the process, I sold my share, at that time the largest law firm in St. Martin, one of the largest in Aruba and Curacao also, Gibson and Duncan and Cuyas, to serve my country. I served. I opened this office with Ms. Brandon in 1997, and in 2006 I was asked again. I left my law firm and I served for 4.5 years in the process of terminating the Antilles, and I served another 2 years and 7 or 8 months as Minister of Justice here. Whenever I've been called, I've been ready to serve my country. My record stands. You can look at it whichever way you want, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't think indifferent, not. You can either good or bad, depending on where you come from or who you are. I've done my best. Nobody can say I didn't try. And I believe that there are some successes that I accomplished in the 2 years and change that I was there. Now, I left. I resigned as minister because of the politics, governments changing, etc. I wasn't part of the quarrel between the first government falling, and I wasn't part of the quarrel when the second government fell. However, I was a victim. Why? I was asked to be a minister by Member of Parliament Patrick Illich. In other words, in a coalition setting, he is who I am in the coalition with. And I served, like I said, I served with all of the parties who were involved, and I don't think any of the parties can complain that I didn't do my work or whatever. They may not have liked my policies, they may not have liked my approach, but so far, yeah, I could vouch to say that you can't say I was a bad minister, to speak. Now, when the second government fell, I verified that one, the person who was supporting me was not in the coalition, so my basis for being in the coalition ended. So I left. Politics is not a career, it's not a job, it's a privilege to serve. And the basic principle of, constitutional principle of government is the ministers are responsible, and they're responsible to Parliament. And whenever Parliament indicates, for whatever reason, and you could argue whether they're right or wrong, but there's no reason has to be even given, that they have no confidence anymore, they're breaking up the government, etc., and they have not asked you to be part of that, then you have to leave. And don't hold on, fight, argue, leave. Simple as that, leave. This is what I did. As soon as that, it was apparent a couple of days, I understand it was brewing, I checked. I spoke to Mr. Illich. He said he was not part of the new coalition. I continued to talk to other people, and they made it clear what their reasons were, and I ascertained what the reasons were. It didn't have nothing really to do with me. I left. That's it. Now, in the process, you know, you've reported about my arguments with the Dutch, and not that I feel vindicated, but the situation in Aruba with Mr. Ayman is a glaring example again of how Holland interferes. My problems were with the Dutch because of Dutch interference, and they wanted to tell me how to run my ministry, and I refused. And when they could not force me to, they went into this campaign to, like they say, blacken my name, you know, make all kinds of questions as to my integrity. And that, up to today, and I'm out of office for now over a year. I'm still waiting to see somebody say what I did wrong, where I didn't do my duties properly, what crimes I committed or what have you.
Do you show your support after any political party as yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I was telling you, so my point is, I don't do a very good job of campaigning and convincing people to vote for me. I've been on lists, I've had lots of votes, I've had very little vote, and it happens to be, I have the theory that I don't do a good job in campaigning and convincing people to vote for me, because I don't like to make promises that are difficult or impossible to keep, and there are certain things I don't believe in, and I am not going to propagate it because it sounds good. So in that sense, I decided to leave the National Alliance because of their hypocrisy in terms of, well, if the Dutch say something about you, it got to be true, or, you know, people trying to, how you would say, I can't associate with Duncan that much because God knows what he has done. Now, people know me. Here this year I'm practicing law for 40 years. I've never been involved in any accusations of anything. So why would it happen now? But that's the question, that's my beef. So I decided to take a back seat. Now, a back seat doesn't mean to say I'm retired, doesn't say I'm quitting, it means a back seat. I choose in a democracy. You could choose to run or not run or not participate, that's your right. So I've decided not to run, but I will vote. And I'll definitely pick a candidate or a party to support. Now, again, it will be my right to decide how I'm going to support that party. I could put on a shirt, I could go put a bunch of stickers on my car, I could go out there and rah, or I can quietly, as a citizen, live my life, and when election time comes, vote. Or, if I choose, anybody wants to hear my advice, they wants to ask me for advice, they can come. So, that's a democratic right. Am I politically interested in what happens in St. Martin? Of course. I am a citizen, and whatever happens wrong or right here affects me and my family. So from that perspective, I'm looking at the election. I wish everybody the best of luck. I hope it isn't only luck they're relying on. I hope they come with some good manifestos and some sound proposals and plans. You know, governing a country isn't as simple as saying how all you want to do and how you're going to do it. You have to also be willing and have the fortitude to work at it. Our civil service in St. Martin needs to make a big turnaround in producing the work, the legislation, the policies that politically are required of them. It's a big, tall order because everybody has their way of seeing things, and in the civil service, it's easy to say, well, I feel it's that way, and it doesn't agree with what the minister wants. Many people then are not in the right jobs at the right time. And that we need to do. That's, I think, the crux of running a government, or who's going to win the election, or who should win the election, or who can carry out their promises in the election. Because if you can't get it done, you could write the Bible. If you can't execute it, then you're failing.
Former Minister of Justice Roland Duncan. Andrew Dick reporting for St. Martin Newsroom.